Hey, welcome back to the Disturbing Illusion channel, where we are just as critical of the left as we are of the right, because the left and the right are your enemies. Before we get into Elon Musk, who says he might be auditing Fort Knox and bringing video cameras in, let's take a real quick break and listen to what Donald Trump promised before he became president.
When I win, I will immediately bring prices down starting on day one. Starting the day I take the oath of office, I will rapidly drive prices down and we will make America affordable again. Prices
Starting on day one. Is your life more affordable right now? Mine isn't.
will come down. You just watch. They'll come down and they'll come down fast. We will rapidly defeat inflation. We're going to bring your prices down. Vote Trump and your incomes will soar. Your net worth will skyrocket. Your energy cost and grocery prices will come tumbling down.
I know egg prices haven't come down. That's why I posted this today. You remember during Biden's regime, people stuck these stickers all over gas pumps because the price of gasoline was so high. Well, why aren't they sticking stickers like this on eggs where Trump did that? Did you see the price of eggs? Hey, the price of eggs, it's the avian flu, man. The FDA is trying to get all these farmers to kill all these chickens and or inject them with this jabberino. It's not Trump's fault. Come on. We know presidents don't control prices. Prices are controlled by the people who issue the value and supply of our currency. So let's just turn our sights toward this right here. Looking for the gold at Fort Knox. And it's gone, says Elon Musk. He says gold is the property of the American people. I sure hope it's still there. So we have Fox News, the Daily Beast, everybody's reporting that Elon Musk prepares gold reserve audit at Fort Knox after senator's invitation.
All right, so this morning to talk about going for the gold, Elon Musk and DOGE setting their sights on the country's largest gold reserve, Fort Knox in Kentucky, as its own senator reveals that $425 billion of a gold supply doesn't even get a yearly review. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul joins us now. So, Senator, I didn't know it was that much money there, and I was even more surprised that there's been no review.
That much? $425 billion is a drop in the bucket compared to $36 trillion in national debt and over $220 trillion in national debt if you count unfunded liabilities.
Well, you know, I've been trying to go down and see the gold, make sure it's all there for about 10 years.
Now, what would keep the Federal Reserve from actually taking all these bricks in Fort Knox and just, you know, creating a situation where it's their lead bars and they just gold plate them? We're going to get to that in a second, too.
During the first Trump administration, I got permission. You have to get permission all the way up to the Secretary of Treasury. And then the Secretary of Treasury said, well, I want to go down there too. And then he said, I want to go down there when the eclipse is coming through Kentucky too, so I can see the eclipse and the gold at the same time. But they came when I wasn't there. So I tried for 10 years. I set up the appointment. And then because they wanted to see the eclipse, they changed the appointment. I didn't get to go down. But the Secretary of Treasury and the senior senator from Kentucky did go down and attest that they believe they saw the gold down there.
So what do you think the problem is?
If the gold is really there, they wouldn't have any problem with any kind of audit at any time. And along with testers, you know, people to go with these gold test kits and make sure that all the gold that's there is actually gold and not some kind of fool's gold.
You know, I think some of them may not think it needs to be audited all the time, but I think the more sunlight, the better, more transparency, the better. Yeah. And also it brings attention to the fact that gold still has value, and implicitly, not explicitly, but implicitly, gold still gives value to the dollar. Yeah. That's why we don't get rid of it. You know, we've got it. The IMF has it. The World Bank has it. Most of the central banks around the world have gold, and it's an implicit trust that the dollar still has some backing.
I can't even believe Rand Paul said that. The dollar has no backing, hasn't had backing since, you know, in 1944, they set up the Bretton Woods Agreement where they pegged gold at $35 an ounce. Everybody, all the nations that were there agreed to it. And then that Bretton Woods Accord was broken on August 15th, 1971, when Nixon, when the central banking cartel who dangled Nixon by the strings, had Nixon say, well, we got an international speculator problem and we're going to have to temporarily suspend the convertibility of gold and other assets. And that was a temporary, so far it's been about a temporary 54 years now. And nothing is quite as permanent as a temporary government program. So we decoupled the American dollar from gold and silver in the 1970s. And since then, there has been no gold backing. And just because the American people perceive that there is a gold backing doesn't make it so. So it's interesting that Rand Paul even said that. Let's go ahead and go to the Daily Beast. We know that they're decidedly leftist. They hate Elon Musk and DOGE and Donald Trump and all things Republican, and they're totally in favor of Democrats and leftist liberal ideology. Elon Musk finds DOGE's next target, gold reserves at Fort Knox. They say Elon Musk has identified the largest target of his Department of Government Efficiency, the U.S. gold reserves at Fort Knox, like they're still there or something. The cost cutter in chief signaled his intent on Monday to walk through the heavily guarded military base housing over 147 million fine troy ounces of gold worth $6.2 billion. That is nothing. That is nothing. After he was egged on by Republican Senators Rand Paul and Mike Lee, Musk appeared to arrive at the idea over the weekend when an ex-user said he should, quote, make sure the gold was still at Fort Knox, which was last audited in 1974. Then Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, Goldman Sachs guy, visited the Kentucky-based facility in 2017 during the first Trump administration. Rand Paul said, well, Elon Musk says, surely it's reviewed at least every year. And Rand Paul says, nope, let's do it. Mike Lee says, as a U.S. Senator, I've tried repeatedly to get into Fort Knox. Fort Knox says, you can't come to Fort Knox. Me, why? Fort Knox says, it's a military installation. Mike Lee says, I'm a senator. I go to military bases all the time. Fort Knox says, you can't come because you can't. Elon Musk says it would be cool to do a live video walkthrough of Fort Knox. And like I was saying, who's to say that if you do the live video walkthrough and you see these vaults of gold, that they didn't just plate lead bricks with gold? Here's a 1974 look inside Fort Knox from the History Channel.
Can you believe that? Look at that. They're flat to the ceiling.
I remember being somewhat in awe of seeing all the gold stacked.
It's clear to the ceiling. Look at all those bricks right there. Just take our word for it. These bricks we're putting on the scale right there, they're real gold. They're not lead. Watch, we're going to weigh them right here in front of you.
And these have been weighing about 22. So
each of the gold bricks was worth $65,000 at the market price of the time.
Now gold is almost up to $3,000. Here's a snapshot of that History Channel documentary. Elon Musk posted this on X, looking for the gold at Fort Knox, and it's gone. They say, this is the Daily Beast, conspiracy theorist Alex Jones was quick to jump in, reporting through his website InfoWars that DOGE goons would probe the depository's missing gold, and Musk says it'd be cool to do a live walkthrough at Fort Knox. Fort Knox is the latest target to catch Musk's eye. The DOGE task force has been at the forefront of the Trump administration's bid to reshape the federal government, which has included a purge of federal government employees and a takeover of sensitive systems. And then the Daily Beast ends their article by quoting what we just saw from Rand Paul. I think some of them may not think it needs to be audited all the time, but I think the more sunlight, the better. The more transparency, the better. And I totally agree, but do you really trust the technocratic state to set up a government that is actually for the people? Can a government ever be for the people? How does a government survive? A government can't survive unless it's stealing from the people in order to provide services for the people. So the question is, are we for theft? Or are we against theft? Can't we end the entire theft-based statist system? And is Elon Musk going to do that? Or is he going to set up a more vicious, virulent system based on his AI technologies and his payment systems that he's going to implement along with Palantir and Peter Thiel? Leave your thoughts about this for the world and the global thought police in the comments section below. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, give it a thumbs up, share it with everybody you know, grab a hard-hitting conversation starting design from the store, become a channel member. But more importantly, keep your eyes open and your ears to the ground, because we got to figure out what's going on here so we can lead our generation into a freer America. I will see you in the next video.